Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, June 23rd edition of The Question, a Blog Talk Radio conversation for 2.5 hours on Tuesday mornings. Here during the summer of 2009, so it is January 23rd. It is June 23rd, 2009, and this is The Question. Hey, we've been off for a couple of weeks, and it's nice to be back with y'all. I've kind of missed the notion and the idea, and of course all the stimulating conversation that goes on over here at Blog Talk Radio. The Question, also streaming on Ustream. So if you'd like to follow along over there at Ustream.tv, that's spelled with the letter U, Ustream.tv /channel/Doug Pagitt, and I'd be glad to include you in the show if you'd like to. As you know, if you're a regular around here, we include people all the time, and if you're not a regular, let me tell you how it goes. We invite in a guest host for 4 of the 5 half hours here on this Tuesday edition. And they talk about the areas of interest for them, the things that they know all about, the things that are moving and grooving in their world. So we'll start with Shelley Pagitt at 10. We will then move on to Carla Bonhill at 10:30. Steve Scherber will join us at 11. And Tony Jones at 11:30. So they'll be talking about natural health, parenting, home remodeling and repair, and religion, respectively. So glad to have them join us in the show, and we would be delighted to have you as well. Feel free again to call in on the call-in line if you'd like to, and that is at 646-929-1199. So lots going to be going on here on the show. We used to run the show during the school year for 1 hour a day. And when it would run for an hour a day, then I would do the first half an hour with my own little shtick, and then the second half an hour would be one of those guest hosts. So that was the rhythm, that was the vibe, that was the feel. But now, this summer, because I'm doing a bunch of traveling, it's not possible for me to guarantee a show every day. So we've moved it to once a week and cramming them all together. And the upside of that is that you just have a spectacular Tuesday. And I like it because, sometimes an hour just doesn't seem like enough. The hard part is that my portion where I get to run my little smack gets cut. Now, I've heard from some of you, I've really heard this, that you think that's the best part of Tuesdays. That I don't get to just run my little smack unfettered. Well, that might be true. But even if it's not, I still feel a little left out, my own radio show. Hey, some big things could be in the offering here for the show, in fact. So you know that back in January when we started The Question, a Blog Talk Radio conversation with me, Doug Pagitt, your host, where we try to bring up topics of the day out of the news and out of all the areas of interest in these varying topics that we have. Part of what I was trying to do was to see if I would have the rhythm, the sustainability, the interest, and the overall competence to run a radio show. Well, there's a possibility I'm going to be in some conversations next week with some folks from a local radio show. So it just might be that The Question, Blog Talk Radio conversation with me, Doug Pagitt, your host, just may well have to move outside of Blog Talk Radio and on to the airwaves. Now, it's also a show for those of you who I know we have many listeners who are around the country and around the world, and you're saying to yourselves, well, what about us? We're not in the megahertz range of those Minneapolis, St. Paul airwaves. Of course, it's also streamed digitally over the internet. So you could tune right into the show and probably call right into the show. So I'm not leaving you behind. And now, look, there's not even a guarantee that this is going to happen. It's just an idea. We're kicking it around. We're going to, run a couple of ideas up the flagpole and see if anybody salutes. That sort of thing. So, hey, if you would like to join in on any of the chat rooms, you can do that over at blogtalkradio.com/Doug Pagitt, or you can do that at ustream.tv/channel/Doug Pagitt, and would be glad to include all of you all the time in the fabulous little chat rooms. Hey, some things have been busy for me this summer. I don't know about the rest of you, but I am on tour, doing live occurrences of my book, A Christianity Worth Believing, and it's going well. We are the tour is scheduled to have 3 legs to it. It's a 3-legged tour. And the first leg was out to Colorado and Nebraska, and that has completed. And we start on Wednesday with the middle part of the country, with the Midwest, as some people like to refer to it, the Midwest part of the country, and really looking forward to it. We're going to start here in Minneapolis on Wednesday, and on Friday head down to Des Moines, Iowa. Out of Des Moines, we're going to head down on Saturday to Kansas City, and on Sunday in Little Rock, and on Monday in Tulsa, and on Tuesday in Oklahoma City, and then getting back home next Wednesday. So a week's worth of whirlwind. So if you're in any of those places, know any people who are in those places, please send them along my direction. I'd be glad to have you join in. Then the second part of the tour. The third part of the tour is going to take us out to Ohio and Pennsylvania and Indiana and Illinois and Wisconsin. So we're going east from Minnesota. Now, all this is at dougpagitt.com/live if you would like to follow along on the tour, join in on the tour, or any of the rest of that. But wouldn't you know it, the last summer I was on a little book tour with a couple of dear friends of mine, and we happened to be traveling. There were 4 of us traveling in an RV, and so it was cheaper for us to travel in an RV to 36 cities, of course, than it would have been to, do something silly like fly around the country or something like that. Well, we happened to be driving around the country in an RV during the time when gas prices were absolutely at their record highest, even in comparison to inflation. Unreal. Great timing, way to go, boys. Well, this year, this summer, what do you think's going on? A heat wave striking the Midwest. Wouldn't you know it? So, as I head myself south from Minnesota, the headline reads, "Weather headlines: Heat wave hits the heartland." Exactly where I'm going. I am the heartland. We're doing the heartland. This is heartland. This is heartland business that we've got going on here, and of course, I am going to be sweating like crazy in that Dodge Caravan of mine. It's me and another fellow musician, and we're traveling. And that direction that we're going, right down the middle of the country from Minneapolis, right down from Minneapolis to Des Moines to Kansas City to Little Rock, Arkansas, over to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma City, and then back up. That is it to a T. That's the heat wave being sucked up out of the Gulf, coming up through Texas, and heating it up. It is going to be 94 or 96 degrees today in Minneapolis. Hoping for a little rain break tonight, because we've got a show tomorrow in Minneapolis in a building that is not equipped with air conditioning. So, it's going to be a tough run. But this heat wave is something else, don't you think? I mean, it is like August weather. This is what they normally talk about in August. There's hurricanes down in the Gulf, and temperatures in their 90s and 100s all the way through Dallas, and I mean approaching that here in Minneapolis as well. And excessive heat warnings are in effect for southeastern Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma, and west central Arkansas, the newspaper article reports. That's where we're going. Right into the belly of the beast. Let me tell you. So, yeah, it's going to be a hot, sticky, and sweaty occurrence of a Christianity worth believing. But I'll tell you, I'm having a great time on this tour. It's fun to get out with the common people, you know. Good to get out with you folks and meet you and stay in your homes and hang around with you and all that. And here's the good news, that despite the recession, people feel good about what's going on. Now, we're going to be back in just a moment here with a continuation of that conversation. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can move on to the next recording here.